Hi, everyone. This is Megan from New Hampshire Federal Credit Union, Center for Finance and Education. And today we're going to be talking about Dave Ramsey. We're going to talk about who he is, his 7 baby steps to financial freedom, as well as his debt snowball, his method of getting you out of debt quicker and allowing you to learn habits to not only get you out of debt, but to keep you out from going back into debt, to stop repeating the cycle. All right, so who is Dave Ramsey? So who is Dave? This is Dave. And what are his famous baby steps? So Dave started from nothing. He grew up poor. However, he made a career for himself in real estate and was a millionaire by the young age of 26. He was making $250,000 a year, $250,000 a year. He was having a lot of fun, and he had a lot of debt. He actually filed bankruptcy a couple of times, and he lost everything because a bank that he had a bunch of money on loans with essentially called in his debt, said, Dave, you know what, you're way overextended. You got to start paying more of this back now. Dave tells a story about the cars that him and his wife had during this period of their lives. And I don't remember what type of cars they were, but they loved them. And one night they were laying in bed just talking about how they really loved these cars, and that they just fit their needs really well, you know, everything kind of like that. And they noticed in the upcoming weeks, months, that a lot of their neighbors were getting new cars, getting BMWs. And all of a sudden they started thinking, I need to have a BMW. Why don't we have BMWs? We should get BMWs. So they traded in the cars that they loved that worked so well for their family. And they bought BMWs because they were doing what Dave likes to call keeping up with the Joneses. It means you are basing your life decisions based on everyone else is doing, what car they drive, what type of house they have, you know, what vacations they go on. So this is where Dave was, his mentality, his family's mentality at this time. Some quotes from him are, they were as lost as a ball in tall weeds. Although it was decades ago, he can still feel that they were out of control. They were lost. They had no sense of power. And I hear people tell me all the time during financial coaching sessions how out of control, how lost, how powerless they feel. He didn't feel like a powerful adult. He felt like a little boy, literally terrified of monthly bills. And again, that's no way for anyone to live. And these are things that at the center, we hear about this all the time. So he was sick and tired of being sick and tired. He knew he had to make a change. There's another story of Dave that he looking himself in the mirror and not liking what he saw back, knew he needed to change that. And what Dave realized in doing this mirror exercise is that he realized it wasn't a money problem. It wasn't the amount of money he was making or anything to do with that was the problem. Dave had a Dave problem. Anyone can do math. Well, anyone over the age of like 7 can do math. We can all figure out, you know, using basic numbers here, that if we make $1,000 a month, we need to spend less than $1,000 on our bills. So we can all do that basic math and understand it. But what Dave realized is that his problem was the behavior. It was the mindset. It was the keeping up with the Joneses. It was, it's okay. We don't have to wait and save money to make this addition to our home, or make this purchase, or go on this vacation. We have to do it right now. We'll put it on a credit card and we'll deal with it later. He realized that was his problem. And he also understood that this was not unique to Dave Ramsey's family. Most people, many, many, many people in the United States live this way and think this way and believe this way in certain degrees. So he realized, as he developed his program for his own self, and including the book Total Money Makeover, where he talks about a lot of this. So he realized, if I have this problem, I'm sure a lot of other people do too. I know they do. So what Dave now does, how he makes his living now, and he makes a very good one, is he is on podcasts. He goes and does lectures. He has a radio show. He has all sorts of different things going on, spreading his information, spreading his knowledge, teaching people how to get out of debt and remain out of debt, teaching people how to pursue their goals of financial freedom. So that's Dave in a nutshell, and now we're going to get into how we do all of this. Now, what I will say to you before we get into that is, how did we get here as a society? Because again, Dave recognized he's not the only one with this problem. In fact, more people have this problem than don't have this problem. So in the United States, we are now in what's called a buy now, pay later society. Credit cards started coming into being mainstream in the 60s or 70s. And, I was born in the 70s. And, when I was growing up, I remember my mother taking me to the store to make layaway payments. And for those of you that don't know what layaway is, essentially back in the day, what you would do for Christmas or birthdays or whatever is your appliances or whatever was going on is you would go to the store, you'd figure out what you want, and you'd put it on layaway. And you didn't get to bring home this item. You went back to the store every week or month or whatever it was, and you made payments for this item. And when you'd paid for it, then it was yours. So again, layaway is really a thing of the past. Now we have this awesome thing called credit cards. And what credit cards enable us to do is buy now, pay later. And again, there's nothing wrong with credit cards if used responsibly. I use credit cards all the time and don't have any debt. So don't have any credit card debt. So again, there's nothing wrong with using credit cards. It's all about using them responsibly. So Dave has said that you need to change your spending habits. And to do that, you need to change your behavior. And his baby steps are a great way to walk you through that. So before we get into the baby steps, I want to talk about budgeting. And there is a method to my madness. At the Center for Finance and Education, my coworker Kim and I do financial coaching appointments for anyone that needs them. And no matter what people come to us for, whether it's budgeting or helping with debt or credit building or getting ready to buy a home, whatever the situation is that they want help with, we always start with budgeting. And it's extremely important in Dave Ramsey's world, because what we're going to be doing is going through the steps here. If you have debt, or if you're in the steps where you're saving money or whatever step you're on, you need to be putting money towards that. And it's important that you know what you are spending, what you're spending it on, so that you can make these decisions. You can't fix what you don't know is broken. We don't know how much we spend each month in coffee unless we actually figure it out. Again, you can't fix it if you don't know it's there. So some of Dave's best budgeting tips, and we definitely agree with all of these. Budget to zero before the month begins. This is what is called a zero-based budget. It means that for every dollar of income you have a place for it. It doesn't mean that you spend every dollar. It means that you put aside the money you need for bills and food, and put money in savings and towards your debt, that you are telling all your money where it goes every pay period. If you don't do that, it'll just go where it goes. It'll tell you what it's doing. And it's our money. We should tell it what to do. If you're in a couple, a marriage, or you're living together, or I should say your expenses are combined, do the budget together. If you have adult kids that are mature enough, this is a really awesome way to have them start building good habits for when they're an adult. Get them involved. Get them to understand what it is you're doing and why you're doing it. Every month is different, so you're going to have to every month probably sit down and do a quick meeting with yourselves or what have you to get the budget right. But once you've done it a few times, for the most part. These are usually very quick meetings. You can choose to use cash for certain budget categories. I know my coworker Kim, her and her husband use cash for food and also for their play money that they have, so that they can, go get a coffee or buy a book or whatever it is they want to do. That's what they have, that in a separate envelope that they each get, and that is the money that they spend. Definitely track your progress. See, keep yourself informed on how you're doing. You can certainly try online budgeting tools. There's lots of them out there. Dave has one called Every Dollar, but there's many of them out there. Be content. Quit the comparisons. You might, while you are going through the baby steps, especially while you're paying down debt, you might be in the mode of what Dave calls gazelle intensive. That means 100 miles an hour, moving as fast as you can, trying to get this paid off, working as much as you can, selling what you can, doing whatever it is you need to do to get as much money as possible to pay off a debt. So when you are in that mode, you might be not going out to eat with your friends. You might not have cable for a while. You might make those decisions. And quit the comparisons. Stop telling yourself, well, this isn't what everybody else is doing. This is your life. You're choosing to live it this way right now so that you can have good things later that you're not in debt for. So again, just be good with that and have goals. Absolutely have goals. Keep an eye on the prize, but have goals along the way, and give yourself lots of grace. You're going to mess this up. You're going to fall backwards. You're going to have to reinvent the wheel probably over and over a few times. It's going to happen. Just expect it and move forward. So here are the 7 baby steps, and we are going to go through them one by one in more information. But so I'll just mention them quickly right now. Your first one is to have $1,000 in an emergency fund. Second step is to pay down all of your debt that's not your mortgage. Your third step is to fully fund your emergency account, which is 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Step 3B, if you're not a homeowner, that step then is to save for the down payment of your home, if that's the avenue you want to choose. Step 4 is start saving up to 15% or more of your income for retirement. Step 5, save for college education for your dependents. Again, if you have them and that's the route you're going. Step 6 is pay your home off early. And once you've done all that, you're at baby step 7. Live and give like no one else. Essentially, do whatever you want to do because you have the money for it. You're well invested and it's yours. So step 1 is save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. This hopefully takes the shortest amount of time, although, of course, there's always setbacks. You always hear about the circumstance where someone's up to $800 and then suddenly they need 2 new tires and they have to start pretty much all over again. It's the shortest. It should take the shortest amount of time, hopefully, but it's also the hardest step. And this is when you tell yourself that you are sick and tired of being sick and tired. This is when you really have to put your brave face on and keep moving forward and not give up and trust the process and keep going. The reason that Dave picks $1,000 for a starter emergency fund is he believes that pretty much any, not crazy emergency, not a new roof, not, whatever, but a lot of things $1,000 can take care of. And again, if all of a sudden you need 2 new tires, or your dog needs, some minor procedure done or whatever, or you have some medical bills, you need to have an X-ray. Again, a lot of times $1,000 will cover these types of things. Step 2 is to pay off all of your debt doing the debt snowball. I am going to go into the debt snowball at the end of this presentation. My coworker Kim and I both love the debt snowball. We've both used the debt snowball to very much having success. And I'm not going to go into how you do it because I'm going to tackle that in a whole separate slide here. Step 3 is to build a fully funded emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of your expenses. This is all of a sudden something happens and you might have to quit your job, or you get laid off, or whatever. All of a sudden you unexpectedly need to get a divorce. Again, life happens, unfortunately. And Dave recommends if you have a steady 40 hours a week income, you should be good with 3 months. If you have a irregular income, if you're self-employed potentially, that you should have up to 6. Me personally, while this is the step I am on, I am not there yet as far as even close to my 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Because I'm a single person, I prefer to have more than 3 months, somewhere in the middle, maybe 4 or 5 months worth of income. But again, that's up to you individually or as a family. And this is also the step after you have done that, built your emergency fund, that you start working on your down payment for a home. And again, if you're already a homeowner or that's not a desire that you have for whatever reason, you just skip step 3B and go right to step 4, which is start investing 15% of your income or more into your retirement. And 401ks or 403bs are great ways to do that, especially if they offer a match, which is free money. It makes me crazy when people tell me that their company has a 401k or 403b program and they have a matching program and that people aren't participating in it. Essentially what that is your employer saying, hey, we're willing to give you some money towards retirement, and you're going, no, I'm good, never mind. So definitely want to invest in a 401k, 403b. And if anyone listening to this is on the younger side, if you're in your 20s, please do not think that you shouldn't invest just because you're young. It's unbelievable how much your money will grow in the 40-something years that before you retire. Time is money. You can also possibly invest in a Roth IRA. That could be another way or an additional way that you can save for retirement. And if anyone wants to speak with some licensed financial advisors, we have some in our offices every Wednesday. You just need to make an appointment. Their names are James and Troy, and they're from the Advisory Resource Group, and they're phenomenal. Your appointment will be free, and you'll have an hour with them to pick their brains on whatever and take their advice if you wish. Again, if you want to make an appointment with our investment gentlemen, please give us a call at 603-224-7731. And again, they are available on Wednesdays. For step 5, you are going to start saving for your children's college fund. And again, if you don't have kids or they have no intention on going to college or you feel differently about that, move on, go right to step 6, which is pay off your home early. Again, at this point, you're fully debt-free. You've got money in the bank. You're saving rapidly for retirement. So this is your next step. Pay off your home. Any extra money that you have, go right towards your mortgage. And then, of course, you're finally at lucky number 7, step 7, where, you can do what you want to do. You can give, you can donate, leave an inheritance. Again, whatever it is that's important to you. I was just talking to a friend of mine on the phone a couple hours ago, and I don't know how we got on this conversation, but she was telling me that her and her husband have a beautiful home with dozens and dozens of acres of land. And she had said, upon their deaths, a good portion of that is going to be donated to the community for enjoyment, for the community, free enjoyment, hiking trails, things of that matter. And I was just, as she's telling me this story, I'm thinking, what an amazing thing to do. What an awesome legacy to be able to have, to give back to the community, for them to have, free access to nature, for lack of a better word. So I just thought that was really cool. And again, that's all baby step 7. So the debt snowball. So we talked about this. This is step 2. And again, this step might take years. So know that and understand that. This again is the step along with step 1 where people really get what we call gazelle intensive and really try to go as quickly as we can. So the debt snowball, is the way to pay off debt. You focus on small wins along the way to help you to get to your overall goal. So when you're building your debt snowball, anything that you want, any debts that you have can be listed on this. It could be just credit cards if that's what you have, but if you have car loans, if you have personal loans, collection accounts, money owed to family or friends, whatever it is, you can put it on this list. Your debt snowball, baby. You do what you want to do. But how you're going to build it is going to be by listing your smallest debt first. So if I had 3 credit cards with balances of $1,000, $2,000, and $3,000, my $1,000 credit card is going to be on the top of the list. Reminder, you always have to make your required monthly payments on any loans. And you'll continue to do this throughout the baby steps. You'll always continue to do this. But using the step snowball, any extra money that you get is going to go towards that smallest debt first. So using my example, that $1,000 one, any extra money you have, you're concentrating on putting all of that towards the $1,000 debt and just making your minimum payments on everything else. And the reason for that is this, folks. It's small wins along the way to help keep us motivated, because we need this as human beings. So if you think about it, if you have, again, a $1,000 balance, a $2,000 balance, and a $3,000 balance, and you have 3 credit cards, and you're working really hard and you've paid that first one down, and now you only have 2 credit cards, that's awesome. And that's something to be proud of. And you're like, aha, well, that was good. I did that in less than 6 months. Now I'm moving on to the second one. Now we're getting somewhere. Like, we're getting to the point where we're going to be, taking care of more than half of the debt pretty soon. Like, this is good. So this is what it looks like. So as you see, I have 5 different credit cards listed here, with the American Express being at the top with the $800 balance, Discover being on the bottom with a balance of $6,500. I've listed my minimum payments for all of these different cards, as well as the company name to keep us organized. So let's just say, for example, that instead of $25 for the American Express, I can pay $50 a month. And I'm going to keep paying $50 a month on that American Express. I'm going to keep making my minimum payments on everything else. And if I manage to sell something or pick any extra shifts up or whatever, all that extra money is going on the Amex. Because once it's paid off, I'm going to take that $50 that I have been paying on the American Express and add it to my second bill, which is the Capital One. And I'm going to pay $80 a month on Capital One, and can still continue now to any extra money I have goes on the Capital One, and so on and so forth. So you can see how, if your balance is $1,000, you can see how paying $80 a month at a minimum is going to get you there much quicker than $30. And again, then so on and so forth. Now you'd be able to put $160 a month towards the Best Buy. Well, $160 on a $2,800 balance, again, you're going to get that paid off, a lot quicker than if you were just making $80 payments. So that is how this works. So if you would like to talk further about any of the baby steps, if you want some help on getting your budget in order, getting your savings plan in order, getting your debt snowball in order, this is Kim and I. We are always available, and you can give us a call at the center at 603-224-7731, extension 330. So that ends today's presentation. And again, if you need us, we're always here for you. And Dave Ramsey is a household name, so certainly feel free to Google him on your own for any more information. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day. Bye-bye.